George Rice today. George set up Serious Pig over 10 years ago, making a range of snacks for pubs, starting off with salami and then developing a range of products since then. But most recently, he's developed some sourdough croutons, which I was really fascinated to hear about the actual process of developing a new product, because George is very serious, hence in the name, about the actual product, the authenticity of it, and the actual making of what he's doing. George, I'm fumbling a bit here. Perhaps you could just tell me a little bit more about Serious Pig.
Well, I mean, you're absolutely right. We're a premium snack business set up just over 10 years ago. The idea was sort of born in the pub, sort of a lot of days spent in the pub, evenings spent in the pub when I was out of work with a mate of mine, and we were sort of a bit disappointed with what was behind the bar, sort of snack-wise and that sort of thing. And British charcuterie was just starting to appear in the UK. And then it was a combination of a few things, really. I hadn't got a job. I sort of thought that there was a gap in the market for a premium version of a pepperami, because pepperami only exists at the sort of value end of the spectrum, but it's still, it's very popular. I think they were selling about 20. We did some research. We're selling about 25 million of them a year or something in the UK, but there isn't a good version. So there's a whole segment of the market that's not being catered for, to a mini salami that was made, with good quality meat. And they came up with a name and a little logo, and that sort of felt good, felt strong. And then I found a supplier, but they let us down. I found another supplier, they let us down. But eventually I persevered, and we found a supplier that could make these really good little salamis. We had a few suppliers that promised that they could, produce the numbers we wanted, and then they sort of let us down. So in the end, we sort of took the bull by the horns and sort of half set up our own production using a charcutier, because I can't make salami. I could try, but it's a long journey. You could imagine it's sort of like making wine or something like that. There's a lot of know-how, quite a high barrier to entry. So we invested in some equipment, and we invested in some talent, and together we started producing a really good product, and that sold well, and we added to the range and grew to the point where we are now. We're just about to move premises because we've outgrown our site in Peckham, and adding to the range and getting some real traction. We had a good year last year with COVID, sort of pushed everything online, so we were well placed because we just opened an Amazon storefront. So we're flying at the moment. We're doing very well. But that's the point where you really need to, make sure you double down and sort of don't take your foot off the gas, because it can sometimes be a warning when you're growing quickly. You've got to make sure you manage the next stage of the growth quite carefully, because otherwise run out of cash, or like we've got now, we've just sort of run out of space. So it's going to be an interesting year. 2021 is.
Yeah, no, that sounds exciting. Talk to me about the actual development, because you've just done these sourdough croutons.
Yeah.
So the process, you come up with the idea, go through it all from coming up with the idea, then going through various iterations, different flavours, to actually taking it to market. Perhaps you could just go through the whole process for me, please.
Yeah, I think first of all, we look around in the marketplace and see what the trends are. And one of the trends we've spotted is there's a sort of, it's not a decline, but it's a slowing of the meat snacks category. So meat snacks are slowing a bit. So we're looking at non-meat snacks. We haven't got a carb. We didn't have a carb snack in the range. We're sort of not, whether we will do crisps in the future, I don't know, but we're certainly not ready to do crisps now, because we always want to try and innovate and do something a little bit different. And obviously there's a lot of people doing crisps. So what other carb-based snacks could we look at? Obviously sourdough's been in the news a lot. A lot of people have been baking sourdough at home during lockdown. So we thought about sourdough. What we obviously need to remember as a business logistically is we're an ambient business. Everything has got long shelf life. So we're not going to get into actual sourdough with a short shelf life. So croutons just felt like an interesting idea. Then I found a video online on YouTube. If you go to Google and type in snacking croutons. Just type in those 2 words, snacking croutons, and then click on videos, and then scroll down and get to page 2. You click on a video, and there's a guy in the States, and he made I think at first I watched it and I thought, the first few seconds I thought, oh, this is going to be a bit corny, you know, but it's actually quite a clever little video. Done it very well. And it's like a little spoof about like a conspiracy that there's no snacking croutons available. The only croutons you can get are in big bags that you put on salad and soup. And it's like, why is this? You know, and it was done in quite a sort of British sense of humour, despite him being American. And he was just sort of saying, why is there no snacking? Why is no one making croutons to snack on? Why are they all, you know, blah, blah, blah. So I think at that point for me, it was like, okay, I think we've got a good idea. Snacking croutons, sourdough snacking croutons. And I went out to my network and I said, look, does anyone know anyone who can make this in the UK? And we found a really, really good supplier that we got on well with straight away. And they said, yeah, we can do that. We love your range. We love what you're doing as a business. Let's work on it. So they sort of obviously sent us some samples. We had a bit of input into the base product, but then the real input that what they wanted was on the flavors and the seasonings. So we once we're happy with the base product, we started to work on ideas for flavors.
Yeah. And so you've got your ideas for the flavors. Then obviously you make some. How does it work? Are you making some small batches to do some market testing?
Yeah. So we have said to them, look, these are the flavor ideas we think are interesting. We wanted to do chorizo and creme fraiche because that felt like it was a nod to our charcuterie background. Creme fraiche balances it up nicely. It's got a nice creamy mouthfeel if you get it right. You know, if you fry some chorizo in a frying pan, add some creme fraiche to it, it's actually a really nice flavor combination. We had a few other ideas as well. We had ideas around horseradish. That didn't work. Horseradish is quite volatile as a flavour. It's called an aroma flavour. I think it makes you sneeze. You know, that or cough. It gets into your sort of up your nose a bit. It's doesn't quite work when you open the bag. You know, it's sort of everyone that was trying them, it was making them react. It was coughing because it's like it's horseradish. It's pretty potent stuff. So
I love it. I
love it too. Just couldn't get it to work. So we had to abandon that. A hoisin was one that I was very keen on myself, and I thought if we can get that to work, because the 2 flavors we launched, the chorizo and creme fraiche, hoisin flavor. And hoisin with the sourness of the bread worked really well. And I was keen to sort of get a flavour from the Far East because that's a nice sort of trend that's coming along at the moment, Far Eastern foods, especially sort of Korean foods. So we probably had about 10 different options that we started, and we got it down to 5 and then got it down to 4, then to 3. And there's a variety of reasons why you eliminate them out. It can be a practical reason, like I said, like the horseradish. It can be a reason to do with how an idea, and at the moment we're trying to work on something with whiskey, with another product.
Oh, now you're talking.
It's not working. It's not working at all because whiskey, you can't shortcut making whiskey. No. You have to go the long way around. So if you want to try and sort of get a whiskey seasoning that's not derived from the actual product, like almost like synthesize it with natural flavorings and such like, it just doesn't. It's posing quite a problem. So we might have to abandon that for that reason. So there's practical reasons why things can't work. And there's also just, cultural reasons and what people are eating at the moment, what they like, what they don't like. And then there's the other reason is I think for me, at least, is very instinctive. It's like, right, I can see that working. I imagine myself in the pub with a pint, eating that and going, yes, that's going to feel good, taste good. So the intuition and the instinct and whatever is another factor to sort of that for me, is quite a big deal. What would I imagine someone reaction to it? One of my friends, if I pass them a packet, the read in the front of the packet, hoisin, wicked, chorizo and creme fraiche, yes, lovely. You could do an amazing ham and mustard flavour or something like that, but everyone, ham and mustard, well, yeah, ham and mustard. I have a ham sandwich every day. You know what I mean? I'm not sort of piquing their interest with ham or anything like that. You know, so it's about creating a bit of excitement as well with the flavour as it appears on the front of the packet. And then if what's inside is just as good, then that's really the recipe for success. And at the moment, we can't. I mean, we've only launched them sort of a week ago, but I think we're looking at very close to 50-50 in terms of the popularity of each one, which is good for us because that makes things easier logistically when it comes to placing orders and.
And did you put the flavours out to focus groups, or did you just go on your own intuition?
Yeah, good point. Actually, I forgot. I should have explained that. Yeah, we did a survey with our Club Seriously members. One of the survey high on the respondents was using lime. I went to Italy on holiday last year or year before, wasn't it? And there's some crisps out there that I just kept buying them. Me and my wife and the kids would just keep eating these crisps. And they were beautiful. It was red peppercorn and lime. Really, really good flavour combination. So that was one of the top of my list for the croutons because of just how well they work. But the lime just didn't work. We couldn't get it to work at all. So again, practical reason why lime and red peppercorn never made it. So that came up quite high in our respondents when we did our survey. Yeah. So you look at what people have said, then you obviously try and work out what practically we can do, and eventually you get to a point where we're quite happy with them too.
Yeah. Oh, George, that's absolutely fantastic. We'll wrap it up there. That's really sort of insightful in the sort of development process that you go for. Thank you very much indeed for your time.
You're very welcome. Take care.
And you.